Hunter Biden made a shocking and unannounced visit yesterday to Capitol Hill, despite actually not even being invited. So we have to remember he showed up to the opening of the House Oversight Committee. The reason why is that currently the House Oversight Committee and Republicans have subpoenaed Hunter Biden, of which he's been refusing to cooperate with. He says, I will not testify behind closed doors and in a longer form setting. I will, however, testify in public. So yesterday, mounted a publicity stunt, showed up to the opening of that oversight hearing. He was not recognized actually to speak, but it didn't stop stuff from absolutely going crazy. Nancy Mace, Marjorie Taylor Greene, blasting him to his face, saying with some choice words. Let's take a listen.
First of all, my first question is, who bribed Hunter Biden to be here today? That's my first question. Second question, you are the epitome of white privilege, coming into the Oversight Committee, spitting in our face, ignoring a congressional subpoena to be deposed. What are you afraid of? You have no balls to come up here and—
Mr. Chairman, point of inquiry.
Mr. Chairman,
If the gentlelady wants to hear from Hunter
things.
Biden, we can hear from him right now, Mr.
And
Chairman.
you
Let's
wouldn't
take a
speak the
vote and hear from Hunter
president.
Biden.
I'm speaking.
What are you
women
afraid
allowed
of?
to speak
What are you
in
afraid
here?
of?
Hold on.
Why
Order.
are you guys not willing to let us
Are
speak?
women allowed to speak in here or no?
Okay.
Are women allowed to speak in here or no?
Order.
Could you keep interrupting me?
I'll interrupt the
You keep
chairman. I don't know
interrupting.
that he's a lady.
I think that that Hunter Biden should be arrested right here, right now, and go straight to jail. Our nation is founded on the rule of law.
Come on.
And the premise that the law applies equally to everyone, no matter what you're laughing.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Point of
It
order.
doesn't matter who you are.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Biggs over here.
Donald Trump Jr.
Biggs over here.
All right, so no balls. Wow. So then
White privilege, Saagar.
White privilege.
It's his white privilege.
I can't stand Nancy Mace. She's like, as Kevin, what did
Republicans have
McCarthy
gone
say?
so woke, it's
McCarthy
hilarious.
was like, she's a whole other story.
Yeah.
I could not agree with that from the way she conducts herself, opens her mouth, everything she's ever said in the past. I also, though, we have to show Marjorie Taylor Greene shouting out Hunter Biden as he stormed out of the committee meeting hearing after he was not called actually to testify publicly. Here, let's see what happened.
Gentlemen, time's expired. Chair recognizes Ms. Greene from Georgia for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me, Hunter. Apparently, you're afraid of my words.
Whoa! Oh.
I'd like to reclaim my time, Mr. Chairman.
Burst their bubble. Wow, that's too bad.
So he stormed out there of the committee room hearing. You know, we were saying, I have to give Hunter this. This was a Trumpian move. He
Trumpian stunt.
showed up and he's like, all right, call on me. Even though, you know, he knew it wasn't going to happen, and it showed. And he both is able to defy a subpoena and then draw attention from the fact that he is literally defying a congressional subpoena. So look, that's the overall, like, quote unquote investigation update and all of that. I do wonder, though, how the White House feels, because there's been a lot of talk that Joe Biden and the White House would really prefer that Hunter hide in a rock in Malibu and live off of his millions with his latest wife and just, you know, just not be in the headlines. But it seems here that he has hired his own counsel and he's determined to fight back, which politically, I mean, I'm not going to say it matters all that much.
Yeah, I can't imagine that he's not doing this without Dad's approval.
Maybe you're right.
I
don't
can't
know.
imagine that.
Yeah.
So just to give people the backstory. So they subpoenaed him. He said, I'll testify in public, but I'm not doing it in private, partly because of what happened with Devin Archer, where he testified in private, and then they like cherry-picked and sort of misrepresented some of the things that he said. So Hunter's like, listen, I'll answer questions, but I'm going to do it in public. So that's the context in which this stunt plays out. So he comes in and it's like, listen, I'm here. You got questions for me. I'll answer your questions.
Right.
I do think it was kind of a clever, like, Trumpian stunt, but then I don't think that necessarily storming out is the right move. You just stay there, and you look like you're the adult in the room as they, like, accuse you of having no balls and white privilege. There was also a bunch of, like, conservative girl boss moments of, like, he just doesn't want to hear a strong conservative woman, and are women even allowed to speak in this hearing, blah, blah, blah. So, I don't know, the wokeness on the Republican side has really gotten out of control lately, which I know you're covering in your monologue, which I'm very excited about as well. But
does genuinely make me want to kill myself.
I don't know what to say about this Hunter thing. Everything's so fake in American politics. Like, the investigation is fake, the concern is fake, the stunt is fake, the
defense is fake.
It's all just theater. It's all just theater, and it's sort of disgusting to watch it unfold.
Certainly, and to that point, I mean, like Hunter's corruption is just so blatant and obvious. Now, listen, you can say whether it should be voted on or not, but just the latest example of this, the brazenness of this man. Let's put this up there on the screen. I love this. So, new revelations show us, if you guys will remember, about Hunter Biden and his art. So it turns out, from what we can see here, is that quote Hunter Biden actually knew most of his art buyers, despite the quote unquote ethics plan contradicting the White House. If you guys will recall, when Hunter, out of nowhere, just decided to start selling art and doing it for a very high dollar, well, Krystal, it turns out that the major buyer of Hunter's art is the very same person who paid off his IRS $2 million tax bill, which is is a major Democratic donor, and is the only reason he was never criminally prosecuted. Like, this is the most obvious form of money laundering I have ever seen. Krystal, he bought $875,000 worth of this man's art.
Yeah.
And he previously had paid off his tax bill and is a huge Democratic donor. Now, listen, is it the most important story in the world? No. But it's just like, come on. This is just, it's almost an accounting gimmick at this point as to who's being propped up, who's not. Recall also that the White House said that they had a whole ethics plan in place for Hunter's art sales. He's not going to know who bought it and all this. It's complete BS. It's like, what, he's not going to go to his friend's house and see his art on the wall and know that he received almost $1 million, even though he'd never painted anything in the past? I mean, look, I know it's clownish. Whether Biden himself got any of the dollars, I don't know. I think he certainly benefited from it in the past. We'll see. But the art thing is just like, while Biden is the president, you've got the donor who's getting paid off. It's just as blatant as when Trump was president and all those foreign dignitaries would just go stay at his hotels. It's like, you cannot deny that you're getting paid, that him and his family are not benefiting from this.
And this is why Republicans have no leg to stand on when they're in, faux concern suddenly about corruption. Because we just got this report about the many millions of dollars that were spent by foreign governments like China and Saudi Arabia at his properties.
It's crazy.
And he got asked about it, by the way, at the Fox News town hall. He basically bragged about it. I mean, he totally admitted to it. So, when you're looking at his foreign policy actions, you're like, okay, well, is this on behalf of the country, or is this because you got millions into your personal bank account via your businesses from China, from Saudi Arabia, et cetera? So, I mean, this is why there's no accountability. This is why these things are not prosecuted. This is why the Supreme Court has made it basically impossible to prove corruption, because they're all so complicit and they're so selective in which types of corruption they're going to care about, depending on whether it's a D or whether it's an R.
Yep, absolutely. It shows you why, it's like you said, a lot of it is just theater and most of it is almost entirely fake. But at least we did get a hilarious clip of Nancy Mace out of this. So thank you, Hunter. At least thank you for that.
Yes.
Hey guys, if you like that video, go to breakingpoints.com, become a premium subscriber, and help us build the best independent media organization on the planet.
That's right. We're subscriber funded. We're building something new. We want to replace these failing mainstream media organizations.
So again, to subscribe, it's breakingpoints.com.